really kind of fucked up. And, like, not fucked up like I've been drinking or some shit like that. I mean, like, fucked up, like, kind of, mentally, emotionally. The situation is just crazy as hell. And I'm trying to do these readings and shit, y'all. And it's just, because, oh, it feels so amazing. What the fuck? My lashes itch. But, yeah. I don't know, y'all. I think the craziest thing, and it just keep making me want to cry, is just the whole situation last week was just so crazy. And I talked to my friend's good friend, and we were messaging today, and with her receiving her downloads, and just we're making sense of what was happening. She told me, she goes, it wanted to me. Because I went there with the intention of being like, let's clean. Let's sage the house. And at first it was cool, and then she realized how the the entities, because it was more than one. It just wasn't one. It was many of them. It was like at least 3 to 4 that she told me about, and she was telling me what was happening in like just little bits and pieces. When we were talking, because I was there for like 2 weeks, and so just this past week, because what's today? Tuesday, so last week, like my first week there, everything was cool. We was talking, I was like, let's sage, let's, whatever. We went and got like candles. She had some white candles already, and then I think she went and bought some more, and she had some white candles, and so we were like consistently white. She was consistently lighting the white candles. She did a reading for herself. It was beautiful. It was around love. And then, like, it was cool. We made plans. She's like, what do you want to see in the city? Where do you want to go? Just talking about, like, what my plans were for the rest of the summer, and just certain things like that. And then last week is when the energy changed, and her energy changed, and I think the creepiest thing about it though is just, I keep referring to as the movie from Paranormal Activity, and how the person whose vessel was compromised by this entity would just be like stealth mode walking around the house. Like, she had wood floors in her house. You could hear a person walking down the hallway. Like, you're gonna hear somebody in the dining room. You're gonna hear somebody in the living room. Like, you gonna hear it. She'll walk around the house, bro. Like, I could feel her before she would hit, because it would be slow. Like, as it progressed, fuck, it was so weird. Fuck, it was so weird. As it progressed up to Friday, like, just the days and just the energy and how it was taking over her, you could tell, like, just from the walls and how the house was made, right? And just how the house is made. Nobody should ever live in that house. Nobody needs to move back. Nobody needs to live in that fucking house. the front door being here, and then there's a bedroom here, and then you go down the hallway, you got a bathroom, bedroom, and then there's like a wall that's here. So you can like, the wall is like here, we walk in, you can either hit the living room here, or there's a little wall here, or you could go to the bedroom, or you could go that way and go into the dining room, or you could go this way and you can go back, go into the living room area. And then the dining room will lead you to the kitchen, and then from the living room, the entryway to the kitchen will be right there. So, but there's walls, but I would be like, wherever I was sitting, where I was in the living room, or I was in the dining room, like, you would be able to feel her. Oh, you would just be able to feel like her walking. You know what I mean? I don't want to remember my friend like that. Like, I don't. But it was like, that was you know what I'm saying? Like, that was some of the last memories of her just walking around the house. And she wasn't like going through things or nothing crazy. Like, she would go down to the basement a lot, because it's in the Midwest. In the Midwest, we got basements. So if you ain't never been to Midwest got basements. You know what I'm saying? And she would be in the basement. I knew something was in the basement. Went down to the basement a few times to like wash clothes and shit like that, and it would kind of freak me out. But I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go down there and I'm just gonna do it and not think about it. Try not to think about it and just get, you know what I'm saying? Walk down still like, oh, please, Angel, I'm a granny, not granny, but cause I call my grandmother grandma, but like, just protect me, you know what I'm saying, from whatever. And she would go down to the basement or whatever, and I guess at one point I seen there was like a lot of clothes that she was folding up, because she had like a shelf and stuff down there, so she was folding something. But she would be down there for a minute, and then she would come up, and the basement stairs creak. You wouldn't hear her come up the fucking stairs in the basement. You wouldn't hear her moving around. It's scary, just reliving that. My body is like reliving it, and that's what keeps making me want to cry, because my body can feel me being there and remembering what it would be like to have her walking around me, and the entity that was possessing her or taking over her mental facilities would be looking at me. And it wasn't like a dark black eye, like, you know how you see it in the movie, but the eyes just had really changed. Like on Thursday and Friday, her eyes had really changed, and it was it just seemed a little more darker. And I can just remember her standing over me being like, Kendra, are you real? And that shit was just so she was laying down a lot. Like, it was just like, she would sit outside for long periods of time. She told me that the spirit was like pushing her. I remember the first night she told me that she was connecting with a spirit that was said to be her father. I knew off the bat, I was like, this ain't right. That's not your daddy. I even told her on a couple occasions, like, are you sure? Like, it was making me mad. I was getting frustrated that she was so disconnected at first. So I was very upset that it was like, you're so disconnected and you just keep talking to the spirit all day long. You're not talking to us. You're not, you know what I mean? Like, I know when you get involved in your spiritual journey, like, if once you like start ascending and you're developing your spiritual abilities to connect with the divine realm or the spiritual realm, you kind of be zoned out sometimes, because it's just so many downloads stuff coming in, and sometimes you be in periods where you're isolated and all that is happening. But it was just, I was so frustrated. And so I was like, I think on Wednesday is when I was just like, I went in her room. It was probably like maybe around this time, 8 o'clock, something like that. And I just turned on the light, and I was just like, she was laying in the bed, and she was laying down or wherever. She looked over at me, and she wasn't like aggressive or like, you know, it was just like this, I don't like you kind of energy, and just always reading me, like, you know what I mean, like wanting to, I don't know, it was like whatever spirit was in her vessel or in her mental space. I wouldn't say like it was in her vessel, as if it had taken over her as a possession that way, but it had gotten to her mental. You know what I'm saying? Like, it had gotten to her, but it was talking to her. It was telling her things. It was making her confused. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a possession of the body so much as it was in the mental space. You know what I'm saying? And when I flipped on the light, she looked at me and I was like, Jessica, you need